Did you know that a modern candy factory can produce over 1 million sprinkles in just a single minute? That's right. Those tiny, colorful bits of sugar you casually shake over your ice cream, cupcakes, or donuts are the result of an incredibly intricate and fascinating process. They may look small and simple, but sprinkles are part of a billion-dollar industry that brings joy to kids and adults alike. In the United States alone, over 30 million pounds of sprinkles are consumed every year. To put that into perspective, that's enough to cover billions of donuts, cupcakes, cookies, and countless scoops of ice cream. Whether you call them sprinkles, jimmies, or hundreds and thousands, these tiny sugar candies are a staple of American desserts. And yet, most people have no idea what it actually takes to create them. Today we're diving deep into the colorful world of sprinkles, following their journey from raw ingredients to the vibrant decorations that bring our desserts to life. By the end of this story, you'll never look at sprinkles the same way again. When you think of sprinkles, you probably think of birthdays, ice cream sundaes, or maybe even that first magical moment when you bit into a donut coated in rainbow sugar strands. They aren't just decoration, they're a symbol of celebration, fun, and nostalgia. But where did sprinkles come from? The history of sprinkles goes back centuries. In fact, early versions of them were being used as far back as the 18th century in Europe. The Dutch in particular have a long tradition of using sugar candies known as hagelslag, which are remarkably similar to modern sprinkles. To this day, people in the Netherlands still enjoy hagelslag on buttered bread as a breakfast treat or afternoon snack. In America, sprinkles began to rise in popularity in the 1920s, largely thanks to the Just Born Candy Company, which was founded in 1923. Just Born is the same company that would later give the world Peeps marshmallow chicks. But in its early years, it was best known for small candy decorations. They started producing chocolate and candy strands to decorate cakes and called them jimmies. The origin of that name is still debated. Some say it came from the name of a machine operator at the company, but whatever the case, it stuck. By the 1950s, sprinkles were everywhere in the U.S. As the post-war baking boom spread across American kitchens, sprinkles became a must-have for cake decorators, ice cream shops, and bakeries looking to add flair to their products. The popularity of sprinkles has only grown since then. Today they're a staple in grocery stores, bakeries, and ice cream parlors across the country. Americans consume them by the truckload, and their versatility makes them perfect for donuts, cookies, pancakes, frozen yogurt, and even festive cocktails. What's really amazing is that despite being such a simple product, the production process behind sprinkles is surprisingly sophisticated. Entire factories are dedicated to turning sugar, starch, and food coloring into millions of tiny, consistent, brightly colored pieces every single day. If you've ever wondered how something so small could be produced on such a massive scale, you're about to find out. It all begins with just a few simple ingredients: sugar, cornstarch, and food coloring. Sugar is the backbone of sprinkles, making up about 70 to 80% of the recipe. It provides the sweetness, the crunch, and the ability to form solid pieces. Cornstarch might seem like a small detail, but it plays a crucial role in making sure the sprinkles don't stick together. Without starch, the mixture would clump, and instead of neat little strands or dots, you'd have a sticky mess. Water is also added in small amounts to help bind the ingredients, but the real magic happens later when food coloring comes into play. FDA-approved food dyes are carefully measured to give sprinkles their signature rainbow appearance. Everything is tested to meet strict safety standards because these candies aren't just about looking pretty, they need to be safe to eat in massive quantities. Once the ingredients are measured, they're poured into huge industrial mixers. These mixers can handle literal tons of sugar at once, blending everything into a thick, uniform dough-like paste. The mixing process usually takes 10 to 15 minutes, but it's critical. If the paste is too dry, it won't form into smooth strands. If it's too wet, it will stick to the machinery and ruin the batch. Factory operators have to monitor the consistency closely, adjusting the recipe by small amounts to make sure everything is just right. Imagine baking at home but on a scale thousands of times larger and with zero room for error. After mixing, the dough is pushed through machines that extrude it into long, thin strands. Think of it like a pasta maker, but instead of spaghetti, you're creating endless streams of sugar candy. These strands are then cut into tiny, uniform pieces at lightning speed. The precision here is astonishing. Machines are designed to chop the strands into consistent sizes so that every sprinkle looks the same, whether it's destined for a donut in New York or a cupcake in Los Angeles. At this stage, the sprinkles are still soft and slightly sticky, so they need to be dried. They're spread out on large trays or sent through heated tunnels where warm air circulates to remove excess moisture. As the sprinkles dry, they harden into the crunchy bits we all recognize. This stage is crucial because too much moisture would cause them to clump in packaging or bleed their colors when sprinkled onto desserts. Once dried, they're sent to coloring drums, where they're coated with vibrant food dyes. Some sprinkles are rainbow-colored, while others are made in single colors for themes like red and green for Christmas, pastels for Easter, or red, white, and blue for the 4th of July. Some even get a glossy coating to make them sparkle under bakery lights. The creativity here is endless, and the food industry relies on sprinkles not just for decoration, but for marketing seasonal and festive products. From here, the sprinkles go through sieves and filters to ensure that only perfect pieces make it into the final batch. Broken or uneven sprinkles are removed, and the rest are weighed and packaged in bulk bags for bakeries or smaller containers for supermarkets. Packaging lines are highly automated, sealing millions of bottles, bags, and jars of sprinkles every year. A single factory can ship sprinkles across the country or even export them around the world. Considering how small they are, it's mind-blowing to think about the logistics involved in moving billions of sprinkles from factories to bakeries to your kitchen pantry. Sprinkles aren't just about fun, they're also big business. The global sprinkles market is projected to reach nearly $600 million by 2026. That's because demand keeps growing, fueled by trends like Instagram-worthy desserts, gourmet donuts, and creative baking shows on TV and streaming platforms. In America especially, where food culture embraces color and creativity, sprinkles have become almost symbolic. They turn ordinary desserts into celebrations. Think about a plain cupcake versus one with rainbow sprinkles. The difference is instant. One feels simple while the other feels like a party. That emotional connection is exactly why sprinkles sell in such massive volumes. Sprinkles might look like nothing more than tiny, colorful bits of sugar, but in reality, they carry with them a story of creativity, culture, and food technology that most people rarely stop to think about. Imagine this: a donut fresh out of the fryer, warm, golden, and glazed, and then just before it's served, a cascade of rainbow sprinkles is poured on top. Those tiny decorations transform it instantly from simple to magical, adding both crunch and color in a way that sparks childlike joy. Across the United States, sprinkles have become more than just a topping. They're an essential part of celebration. From birthday cakes covered in vibrant confetti-like pieces to ice cream cones dipped in rainbow jimmies on a summer afternoon, sprinkles are tied deeply to moments of happiness, nostalgia, and indulgence. But behind that joyful crunch lies an entire world of food science, engineering, and modern production that allows these sweet little stars to reach millions of households every single day. The journey of sprinkles begins with something as simple as sugar, starch, and cocoa powder, but the real magic happens once these ingredients are combined into a thick, uniform dough. In massive factories across the country, this dough is loaded into specialized extrusion machines. Picture a giant pasta maker designed for candy. This machine forces the mixture through plates with hundreds of tiny holes, forming long, thin strands that look like miniature spaghetti noodles. Unlike real pasta, however, these strands are much finer, usually just 1 to 2 millimeters in diameter, giving sprinkles their familiar delicate crunch. Once the strands are pushed through, sharp blades cut them into short, uniform pieces at lightning speed. In a matter of seconds, what was once just a lump of dough is now a collection of thousands of little candy rods waiting to be transformed into sprinkles. These freshly cut pieces, however, are not quite ready to be sprinkled over your favorite dessert. At this stage, they still look like bland chocolate noodles, so the next step is to coat and polish them into something that not only tastes sweet but also shines with irresistible appeal. To achieve this, the pieces are carried by conveyor belts into a massive panning machine, which operates a lot like a rotating cement mixer. Inside, the sprinkles are tumbled gently in large batches, rolling over each other continuously. During this process, workers carefully spray a controlled amount of sugar water onto the pieces. This is a delicate balancing act. Too much liquid and the sprinkles would clump together into a soggy mess, but just the right amount creates a smooth shell around each piece. Layer by layer, the sprinkles harden into firm, glossy bits that hold their shape no matter how they're used, whether on a hot donut or in a scoop of melting ice cream. This step is essential not only for flavor but also for durability. After all, nobody wants dull, crumbling sprinkles ruining their dessert presentation. While the coating process gives sprinkles their crunch, color is what brings them to life. Once they are fully dried, the sprinkles are ready to be dyed in a rainbow of shades, from classic red, blue, yellow, and green to more specialized hues like pastel lavender or metallic gold. Food coloring is sprayed in even layers, and the pieces are tumbled until every surface is uniformly coated. Traditionally, many factories relied on artificial colors to achieve bright, vibrant tones. But as American consumers have become more health-conscious and environmentally aware, the industry has shifted toward natural dyes. Today you'll often find sprinkles made with colorings derived from turmeric for yellow, beetroot for red, and spinach for green. This growing movement toward natural ingredients ensures that the joy of sprinkles doesn't come at the expense of sustainability or consumer well-being. Once the sprinkles are colorful, glossy, and perfectly dried, it's time for packaging, a process that is just as fascinating as production. Automated lines carefully weigh each batch to ensure accuracy, whether it's a tiny jar containing just 100 pieces or a bulk container meant for commercial bakeries with hundreds of thousands of sprinkles inside. Machines are designed to be incredibly precise because bakers and home consumers alike expect consistency. From weighing and funneling to sealing the jars or bags, everything happens with robotic efficiency, ensuring the sprinkles remain fresh and uncontaminated. Once packaged, they are boxed, shipped, and distributed across the globe. Statistics show that over 1 billion containers of sprinkles are consumed worldwide each year, and the United States makes up a massive portion of that demand. It's an astonishing number for something considered more of a decoration than a food, proving just how deeply sprinkles are embedded in everyday American desserts. Culturally, sprinkles in the U.S. go far beyond just topping sweets. They're a form of edible art. In many cities, bakeries host sprinkle-themed events, competitions, and celebrations. Imagine walking into a festival where pastry chefs create towering cakes completely blanketed in sprinkles or giant donuts topped with millions of tiny candy rods, glistening like edible fireworks. Some of these creations have even set world records, showcasing cakes so massive and colorful they leave visitors in awe. And on a smaller, personal scale, many Americans have fond memories of decorating sugar cookies during the holidays, letting their kids pour sprinkles with reckless abandon, turning the kitchen table into a rainbow-colored mess. These traditions highlight how sprinkles aren't just sugar, they're tied to memory, celebration, and identity. Of course, behind the fun and joy, modern sprinkle production also faces challenges, particularly in terms of environmental impact. Chocolate production, sugar harvesting, and energy-intensive machinery all leave a footprint. That's why many manufacturers are now exploring more eco-friendly approaches, from using renewable energy in their factories to adopting fair-trade cocoa and sustainable sugar farming practices. The shift toward natural dyes is another step in this direction. Some companies are even experimenting with 3D printing technology to craft sprinkles in unique shapes, stars, flowers, even custom logos, offering creative possibilities for bakers while reducing waste from traditional production. This innovation marks a major leap in the food industry, merging artistry with sustainability and technology. And here's a fun fact. While sprinkles may appear on cakes, cupcakes, and ice cream sundaes, their most iconic pairing in the United States is with donuts. According to statistics, Americans consume over 10 billion donuts every year, and a huge portion of those are decorated with sprinkles. Research suggests that nearly 40% of donuts sold in bakeries come topped with them, proving that sprinkles aren't just a garnish, they're a symbol of indulgence and a staple of American food culture. Walk into any donut shop on a Sunday morning, and you'll likely see kids' eyes light up as they point to the rainbow sprinkled donut in the display case. That single topping has become so iconic that for many people, a donut doesn't feel complete without it. What makes sprinkles so enduring is their ability to combine simplicity with magic. They're made of basic ingredients, sugar, starch, cocoa, but through clever engineering and creativity, they transform desserts into something playful and extraordinary. They're also a bridge between generations. Parents who once loved sprinkle-covered treats as children now share the same joy with their kids. Whether it's a birthday cake, a holiday cookie, or a midnight snack, sprinkles add more than sweetness. They add emotion. They remind us of celebrations, of carefree childhood moments, and of the timeless power of food to bring people together. So the next time you pick up a donut, spoon into a sundae, or bite into a slice of birthday cake, take a moment to notice those tiny decorations. Behind their cheerful appearance lies a remarkable journey of science, culture, and tradition. Sprinkles might be small, but they pack a story that's as colorful as the rainbow itself. If you guessed donuts as the most sprinkle-covered dessert in America, you got it right. Drop a "I was right" in the comments. And if you didn't, don't worry, grab a donut, add some sprinkles, and enjoy the magic firsthand. After all, these little candies aren't just decorations. They're a sweet reminder that life is better with a little color and crunch.